up, everybody? How are you? Good to have you back. Good to have you here if it's your first time. Let's get right to it. This is 2 days worth of footage that's compiled down into one video. If you haven't seen the last two videos, I'll link them in the description down below so you can go click those and watch those. Maybe you want to do that before you watch this. It'll all make a little more sense because this has somewhat become sort of a mini series, I guess, these at least these three videos. So I was on a pattern in a particular stretch of one of my lovely local large public lakes, and it's been pretty good. So I wanted to kind of continue seeing what I could get out of that pattern. Now I had plans to go to a totally different part of the lake and start scoping out some new water that I've never really touched before. And instead, the allure of possibly catching another giant got me, and I decided to head right back to the spot that I've been fishing, especially since I haven't really seen a lot of people on it. A couple of guys here and there, but nothing too crazy. Not a whole lot of pressure on it aside from me. So anyway, let's get to it. Let's see what happened, and we'll get back here and talk about it afterwards. Damn pickerel. Good, he let himself go. Jesus. Attacking a pickerel lately. Oh, he got my tail. Yep. Not a big one, but I'll take it. There's one in the boat. Hey. Destroyed my trailer already. Jeez. You're such a little guy. Yep. That's a goodie. And he's still on. I was gonna say he came off, but he didn't. Spot on the deck is getting bad. 17 and a quarter. Yep. 17 and a quarter. Yep. Boat flipped. You a little guy.
So I'm going to really test that hypothesis about these fish being up here chasing bluegill. I found a bunch of bluegill beds in a different part of the lake, and only a couple of them had fish on them. So I think maybe we were just at the tail end of a bluegill spawn. I haven't been paying attention to the moon cycle and all that kind of stuff lately, which I should be, especially since I've been fishing a lot more. But it's highly possible, because we're at that point of the year now where the bluegill start spawning, that they've been up feeding on bluegill, and now that spawn's over and they've already moved out of here. So I'm going to throw this Gantarelle around up here, Gantarelle Junior actually, and I mean, it looks exactly like a bluegill. So, and a lot of times fish just follow this thing just because they're curious about it. They can't stand what it's doing in the water for whatever reason. They just got to look at it. That action, that swimming action. So at the very least, it might tell me if there's some fish in the area still, if I can get them to follow it to the boat. Yep, there's one. Not trying to boat flip. This rod's got a pretty soft tip for an 8-foot heavy. There's one on the Gantarelle Junior. Always got to throw that in there because it ain't the big boy. Ooh, he got it good. Have to grab the pliers. Everything is preventing me from doing that right now. Lost my gripper there. That would have sucked. Cool. Right. Pole mount camera's not there. Hey. Get that guy back in the water. Get back to it. So he came right up off the grass line, but that's a little dude and it's only one fish, so we're not going to read too much into that. What the f? You don't see that every day. Gar. Gar. Yep, saw that one eat it. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Strip and drag. Absolute donkey. Come on, sweetie, get in this net, please. Thank you. I appreciate you. You're friggin' heavy. You're an absolute giant. Oh, she don't look spawned out. Either that or she been eating real good. We are on them still. I am on the juice. Hey. Yep. Oh, dang, you got it. real bad. You weren't going anywhere. Shoot, I'm sorry. You're probably going to bleed because this is right in your tongue. Girl, I'm sorry. Dang, you were not going anywhere, though. I can tell you that much. Jesus, that hook went all the way through. That hook went all the way through. We're going to pinch that barb down if we can. See if we can get it out that way. Damn, that thing like doubled back. Maybe now. No. Ain't gonna work. Dang, 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 dang. I don't want to hurt this fish. I got other jigs. Wow, I have never hooked a fish like this before. Good God. Oh my God, she is fat. She's been eating. Good Lord. Okay. Get her on the gripper. Oh, sorry, girl. Sorry. Oh, my freaking bait and my pliers are in the net. Whatever. Not that big a deal. Keep a good grip on her. Get her a little water. Get her a little revive going. We're gonna get one on the board first. She is only 22 1/4. 22 1/4. Zeroed with my hopefully today working scale. Come on now. Get up in there. Get up in there. Six pounds, 14 ounces. 6 pounds, 14 ounces. Hey. Obie Cabey, baby. Let's get you revived, big girl, with your big old bucket. She's ready to go. Yeah, she's gone. Okay. Okay. Still catching them on the swim jig. She's like absolutely one of my favorite ways to catch them. God, I love fishing a swim jig. Seeing that fish come up and eat it too, Jesus, that was incredible. I know the camera didn't catch that. God, I wish it did. Oh, what a crazy week it's been. I'm glad I came back down here. I wasn't even going to come over here today. I said, nah, I came here yesterday. I only caught like 4. They were all small. But then I remembered that I was out here Sunday and smashed them. That wasn't good. That probably took the tail right off my swim bait. And then I was out here on Tuesday and smashed them. There was a 1-day gap. So let it reload. Yeah, tail's still on the swim bait. Let the spot reload. and then come back to it. I probably shouldn't have came here yesterday. I should have stayed off it yesterday and just went somewhere else. I almost went to a completely different lake this morning. Come on, still waiting for more biggins. Or was that just the last one that I hadn't picked off yet? Clearly the area can't be nearly as loaded as it had been. I mean, yesterday I was out here and I only caught 4. You know, guys, with range being limited on a kayak, even with the trolling motor, I can only go so fast and I've only got so much battery. So you really still have to fish small. You have to pick an area of the lake that you really have confidence in and get out there and get after it. Try different baits, different levels of the water column, you know what I mean, different areas within that area. Figure out that pattern, and if you can pattern fish in a small area and it happens to be loaded, you get lucky. You can have days like I've been having the last, well, until yesterday, the last 2 times I've been out. And granted, I'm not trying any different baits at the moment. I did catch that one on the Gantarel Jr. this morning. So I really just think that the bluegill bite is what's on right now. So I'm probably going to concentrate on throwing this swim jig, swimming that thing around, and maybe throwing that Gantarel a little bit again once the sun's really up. Because I really think that that bite on the Gantarel just came off a straight reaction. I casted it up over some grass, some of this harder grass, and then brought it back over it, and when it hit the water and started swimming, that little guy just hammered it. So I'm going to say we're going to chalk that up to knee jerk on that fish's part. Wasn't really because he wanted it. He got both hooks in the side of the mouth. That's one right there. I don't think that's really a big one though. It's not a terrible one. It's just not a 22.5-inch, nearly 7-pounder. I'm gonna grind him all the way in though, and boat flip. Hey. Oh, he's about 14. He fought a lot bigger than he was.
Okay, so as you can see in that first day, I mean, I really thought things had dried up. I didn't catch many fish at all, and it was a while before I kind of decided to throw in the towel and move on, because I really just had faith in that spot. But the second day obviously paid off a little bit more, so maybe just a little bit of a gap in time really would let that spot reload, because that's what happened initially. I went out there one day and I slayed it, and then I didn't go, and then I went back a day, you know, with a gap in between, a day later, and it ended up paying off pretty well. So maybe that's the way I need to play it. If you notice in that video, it wasn't really any one particular set pattern. It was the same bait, but there was a lot of different stuff going on, swimming that jig, pitching that jig. It wasn't like it was the 2 previous days where they were either pretty much all up in the hyacinths or they were pretty much all on the grass line. So taking that into account, that just makes it a little bit more grindy, because you're not junk fishing necessarily, but you don't really have a specific piece of cover that you know you need to target like it was the previous days. So that made it a little bit more difficult, obviously, but I still stuck one real good one, and that fish was ridiculously fat. That gut was kind of a weird shape too. It was like almost square. I was kind of thinking maybe she's got a belly full of bluegill. Can't imagine that she hasn't spawned at this point. It's pretty late down here in Florida for her to have not spawned yet. But I mean, anything is possible, and from what I understand, there'll actually be periods where some of these fish come up and spawn a second time. So anyway, I hope you learned a little bit of something with these few videos. It's kind of interesting to see how a pattern kind of happens and then changes ever so slightly and then kind of breaks apart, and and you can kind of go back and revisit that maybe in a little bit if it calms down. So that's maybe what I'm going to try next, is going back and revisiting that same pattern. I've got some other areas of that lake that I want to scope out really bad, so going to be shooting some more footage there pretty soon. And I guess I will catch up with you guys next time. So I really appreciate you watching. I appreciate you sticking with me for this long. And until next time, peace.